Chicago Bears quarterback Caleb Williams will be a top 5 quarterback in the NFL and MVP candidate in 2025 if the Chicago Bears make these 5 moves. And the last move is the single most important move they can make to turn him into the superstar quarterback he was destined to be. Now, we all know Caleb Williams, 2024 number 1 overall pick, generational prospect out of USC, and one of the most talented quarterbacks we have ever seen in football. And before last year, it looked like the Chicago Bears had drafted him into a great situation. DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Romo Dunze at receiver, DeAndre Swift in the backfield, Cole Kmet at tight end. All those weapons and a defense that was good in 2023. The Chicago Bears were ready to compete in 2024 with Caleb Williams at quarterback, right? And it all started good last year, 4-2 record, and we're about to be 5-2 when Jaden Daniels went to throw that Hail Mary in the Bears-Commanders game on October 27th. But that play sent this team off the rails. A 10-game losing streak. Both head coach Matt Eberflus and offensive coordinator Shane Waldron were fired, and Caleb Williams looked like a rookie, showed flashes of that potential, but was inconsistent as a whole, held onto the ball way too long, and was very inaccurate at times. And now this upcoming 2025 season, Caleb Williams looks to show that all-time great quarterback potential that he clearly has. With that being said, you don't want to hear what happened last year. We already know what happened last year, okay? The first move the Chicago Bears need to make this offseason to turn Caleb Williams into the superstar quarterback he was destined to be is drafting Gray Zabel with their early second-round pick. Now, who is Gray Zabel? Zabel is an All-American offensive tackle out of North Dakota State who has produced a lot of NFL talent, especially on the offensive line. 7 NFL offensive linemen in the last decade out of North Dakota State. Zabel is 6'5", 305, so he's obviously got the size. He's got the athleticism as well, the physicality, and he's got the tenacity. As one scout said, quote, he's not looking to just block the man, he's looking to bury him. While he played all 5 lineman spots in college, his short arms and his shortcomings in pass sets profiles him perfectly as an interior offensive lineman. This dude Zabel dominated at the Senior Bowl, impressing scouts across the league. Many said he was the best interior offensive lineman at the Senior Bowl, and most believe he doesn't get out of round 2, and some believe he's played his way into the end of round conversation, so you may have to trade back up into the end of the first round if you're Chicago. But why am I so passionate the Bears need a dog of an interior lineman like Gray Zabel? Bears fans watching this, you know, the interior line was awful last year for the Chicago Bears. Quickly, some good news for the Bears offensive line. You already have a franchise right tackle. Darnell Wright has shown to be one of the league's best already. He was the highest graded Bears player last year per PFF and was the 5th highest graded right tackle in all of football. The bad news is they were weak on most of the other spots on the offensive line, especially the interior. They gave up 68 sacks last year, the most in the NFL. Some of those were on Caleb Williams just being a rookie and trying to do too much, but a lot of it was on the awful offensive line that they had, which ranked 21st in the NFL on pass blocking efficiency rating per PFF. So bringing in a hard-nosed, athletic, high IQ player like Gray Zabel would be huge and a great fit for the Chicago Bears offensive line, but one early offensive line pick in the 2025 draft will not cut it for the Chicago Bears' terrible offensive line, which brings me to my second move that will help Caleb Williams turn into a superstar quarterback in 2025, which is signing offensive guard Trey Smith in free agency. That's right, the highly coveted Kansas City Chiefs right guard, Pro Bowler from this year. He's already a 2-time Super Bowl champ, currently working on his 3rd, and is part of what is the best interior offensive line in football right now with Smith, Creed Humphrey, this year's first-team All-Pro center, and Joe Thuney, this year's second-team All-Pro left guard. Smith is a truly dominant player and one of the best guards in football. Obviously has the championship experience and the experience with playing a quarterback that has a similar style to Caleb Williams and Patrick Mahomes. Plus, free agent spending, especially on offensive line, is going to be huge for the Bears. According to SpotRack, the Chicago Bears currently, as of February 2nd, sit at the 4th most cap space in the NFL, $66.9 million in cap space. Trey Smith might be the best available offensive lineman in free agency, and PFF has him listed as the 2nd best available overall free agent. He's played the 3rd most snaps of any guard in football over the past 4 seasons, and PFF has him listed as the 10th best qualified guard in that span. He's durable and reliable. Plus, Chicago's new running backs coach and former Kansas City offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy has ties to Trey Smith, and Smith was very complimentary of Bieniemy in terms of his development as a player. But this tweet from Jacob Infante from Pro Football Network says it all to me. Trey Smith did not allow a single sack in 742 pass blocking reps this season. He missed just 1 game in 4 years and is only 25 years old. To me, that sounds like a no-brainer for the Bears. Get this done and help fortify that offensive line for your young quarterback. Now, the next move for the Bears is a little out of the box, so you're going to have to bear with me on this, no pun intended. The third move that turns Caleb Williams into a superstar quarterback is signing either Levi Onwuzurike or Carlton Davis in free agency. Now, how does signing a defensive tackle or a cornerback help your young quarterback have success? First of all, complementary football. Okay. Bill Belichick talks about it a lot. And if the GOAT talks about it, that means it's important. A good defense helps a good offense. And the Bears defense struggled more than it should have last year, just 20th in the NFL in sacks. Unfortunately, the defensive tackle Onwuzurike won't help much in the sack department. He hasn't had more than a sack and a half in his 4-year career. But the Bears run defense was also 27th in the NFL last year. And Onwuzurike helped the Lions a lot be one of the best run defenses in football the last 4 years. And he's also just a very versatile defensive line piece that had to play a bunch of different positions for the Lions up front with all their injuries last year. Meanwhile, Carlton Davis has just been a really good corner in the league for a while. And while Jalen Johnson had another strong year for the Bears last year, most of their other corners struggled last year, including Tyreek Stevenson. But why those two specific players? There's plenty of defensive linemen and corners in free agency and the draft. I say those two players because both of those guys played for the Detroit Lions last year. So if the Bears acquire them, it weakens the strongest team in the division that already lost both of its coordinators to head coaching positions and whose defense is already its weakness. So you're weakening the division winner's defense while strengthening your own and helping Caleb have more success against that Lions defense and helping your own team to play better complementary football. I think that'll be big for Caleb's success in 2025. Now, Bears fans, you all thought I was just going to hit you with the trenches, Gray Zabel and Levi Onwuzurike, and that's it. No, okay? You all who literally have never seen me before or heard from me before should already know me better than that, okay? We not only need to spice things up, we need some real star power. We need to build one of the best potential quarterback running back duos in the NFL. Let's go get a big fish. No, let's go get the big fish. The fourth move the Bears need to make if they want Caleb Williams to be a superstar: drafting Boise State's Ashton Jeanty at the 10th overall pick. Ladies and gentlemen, I saw an interesting photo come across my timeline on IG the other day. It was Caleb Williams and Vikings wide receiver Jordan Addison. That's not too weird considering they played together at USC during Williams' Heisman year. But who else was in the picture? This year's Heisman runner-up and the player who a lot of people thought should have won the Heisman, Ashton Jeanty. The Chicago Bears have the 10th overall pick in this year's NFL draft. And for the 2025 NFL draft, as far as running back prospects go, it's Ashton Jeanty and then everyone else. And this is a good draft for running backs as well. But Ashton Jeanty stands above the rest. 2,600 rushing yards last year for Boise State, almost broke Barry Sanders' NCAA record, and was more than anyone else in college football by almost 900 yards last year. Averaged 7 yards per carry, 29 touchdowns, and single-handedly carried Boise State to the college football playoff. You give Caleb Williams a bona fide number one running back with the offensive line that we just fortified, watch the hell out. One of the other running back prospects in the NFL draft that I like for the Chicago Bears is Caleb Johnson out of Iowa, who reports say Ben Johnson, the new Bears head coach, has been doing extensive research on, feeling Caleb Johnson could fill that David Montgomery running back role for Ben Johnson's offense. He's a bigger, versatile back, tough between the tackles, plus new offensive coordinator for the Bears, Declan Doyle, has Iowa ties, so that would make a lot of sense, and I wouldn't hate it. But listen, there's only one Ashton Jeanty in this class. If he's there at 10, you make that pick, and you do not regret it one bit. And before I get to the fifth and final move that'll turn Caleb Williams into a superstar, listen, if you made it this far in the video and you haven't got sick of me yet, first of all, congratulations, you're probably entitled to some sort of monetary reward. And second of all, hit that subscribe for me, okay? I've got more of these videos coming. We've got all sorts of content coming as well. So if you are interested in that, all sorts of NFL content, college football content, draft content, if you're interested in all that, hit the subscribe button for me and we will greatly appreciate it. Now, you've all waited for it. It's the most important move. The most important move to turn Caleb Williams into an MVP caliber, top 5 superstar quarterback next season. And I guarantee you this move will happen because it's already happened. The fifth and final move was signing their head coach, Ben Johnson. The creativity, the uniqueness, the ability to scheme up runs and passes, get your best playmakers the ball is something we did not see at all for the Bears with Shane Waldron as OC. A lot of the reason Caleb had to scramble around is because guys weren't open. And the reason guys weren't open isn't because DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and Rome Odunze couldn't create separation, but because Shane Waldron has some of the worst concepts and schemes any offensive coordinator in the NFL has. You watch the tape, they would go 5 wides, and every single guy would run a slant, having 3 receivers in the same area, no spacing on the field. Ben Johnson fixes all of that. He brought in young 28-year-old Declan Doyle to be the offensive coordinator. We already talked about how Bieniemy is the running backs coach. Dennis Allen, former head coach, is the defensive coordinator. I think they have a really good mix on their staff of youth and experience to me. And Ben Johnson turned the Lions offense that in the previous 3 years before he got there, their best ranking offensively was 18th, into a top 5 offense all 3 years he was the offensive coordinator, including being the best offense in football last year. Did he get a little too cute with his play calling at times, especially in the playoffs? Maybe. Was he a little arrogant at his press conference, a little overconfident? Maybe. But you cannot possibly deny the impact that this man will have on Caleb Williams and his career. Ben Johnson's the 2nd youngest head coach in football. Caleb Williams was the 5th youngest quarterback in football last year. This duo will grow together, bring the most out of each other, and Ben Johnson will turn Caleb Williams into a top 5 quarterback. But with the Lions losing both their coordinators to head coaching positions, the Vikings having some uncertainty at the quarterback position, and the Packers not living up to expectations last year, the Bears with Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson have a legit shot to win what was the best division in football last year next year. I'm telling you, if the Bears make these 5 moves, we will see Caleb Williams take a sophomore MVP type leap, and that's something Chicago Bears fans have got to be ecstatic about. I'm Matt from Between the Uprights, and that's going to be it for me. Peace.